Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or our YouTube channel, because this uncle is always here now.
Yeah.
Greet your viewers.
Yeah, hi everybody, welcome.
For the previous love on our previous videos, thank you for watching it. Thank you for the comments. Thank you just for the love generally. Really appreciate, and we really pray that this channel is impacting you and causing you to make better decisions when it comes to your relationships, your marriage, and life generally. In today's video, we are going to be talking about something that is very important when it comes to relationship and what allows our relationship to thrive very well, and that is counseling. So if you are interested in this kind of stuff, please continue watching. But before then, please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to leave a comment, and just let us gist and just talk about things together and build a community together. Also, please don't forget to share this video so that other people can watch and be blessed. So without further ado, let's jump right into this video. In today's video, as I said earlier, we are going to be talking about counseling, and we are going to be talking about counseling in the light of premarital counseling. We are going to be talking about the benefits of counseling that we have harnessed and is helping our relationship or our marriage rather, and we believe that it can help your home or your relationship with your spouse. I know that a lot of people feel like counseling is just for when you are having issues with your marriage or when you are fighting or so. People even feel like they don't need counseling because I get wisdom now. What do you want to tell me that I don't know about my partner? Like we have been dating for like some years, so I legit know this person and I believe that we can work together. So those premarital counselors, they just want to take our money. They don't really have any wisdom to share, and we believe that we can just figure this marriage stuff out. But we just want to encourage you with this video. We did premarital counseling in 2 places. We did in David's Christian Center. We did in Redeemed Christian Church of God. And our premarital counseling took six months for each church. It was very long. Like this, our marriage should not fail. It will not even fail in Jesus' name, but like we invested a lot in premarital counseling and we can see the benefits. So we just want to share some benefits that we hope encourages you to go for premarital counseling. So the first thing I'll be talking about is that great marriages requires training and mentorship. And the Bible says that in the multitude of counsel there is safety. The Bible also says that my people perish for lack of knowledge, and it says in Titus chapter 2 verse 4, it says older women should teach younger women how to love their husbands and how to love their children. So there is a place for teaching. You can't have knowledge if you are not taught, and the Bible says that my people perish for the lack of knowledge. It's just like when we go to school. Let's say you want to be an engineer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a pharmacist. You go to school and learn these courses. Like some people spend 8 years, 4 years, 7 years. You go for BSc, MSc, and some people even proceed to having a doctoral degree so that they can be like masters of that field. It's the same thing. If you can invest like a lot of time in preparing for like the minimum aspects of your life when it comes to education, why can't you take such effort to prepare for marriage? And the thing is that whatever certificate you get is just for a time, but like because you can obviously switch careers, but marriage is like for a lifetime. So if you can take much years to prepare for things that you can actually not use, or maybe a course that you will not use, how much more married that you are inside for life. And Pastor K, I don't know if you guys know Pastor K, but Pastor K gave an example, and it was like everybody is saying that marriage is not good, marriage is bad, blah blah blah. But if we are, let's say both of us have cars now, and you are driving on 3rd Mainland and I'm driving on 3rd Mainland, and your car spoils on the road and my car gets to like the end of the bridge. The fact that your car spoils, even if you are older in driving, does not mean that you are better. True. Because there are some things in your car that will have been giving you sign that you obviously didn't fix. But imagine if I always service my car, I always do the maintenance, my car will take me further. Sure. Even if you yesterday driving earlier. So it's the same thing. When you prepare for marriage, you get wisdom from other people, how the mistakes they have made. Like it just makes the journey shorter and smoother. Like what it took people years to figure out how to communicate, how to resolve conflict, how to harness their marriages. They will just shorten it for you and just like give you tips on how to make it better. So it requires training, it requires mentorship, and we have seen like the beauty of this training and mentorship in our marriage.
Yes. So like she said, it really requires training. So on part of the mentorship, that I would like to say, having a mentor is something that can really, really help you.
Yeah.
So having a mentor in your marriage is also something that can give you it can give you an idea of what you're about to go into.
Yeah.
So once you have a mentor guiding you, like she said, it would be able to pinpoint that person will be able to pinpoint some issues that they have faced, so you can learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
So it's a very necessary thing to have in marriage. So because one of the important points, like I actually had myself, was from my dad, and that's something that I would really always hold a very good lesson. So he said something. He said we should get a notebook.
Yeah, both of us should have like individual notebooks.
So and write down every issue like you've ever heard of that happened in marriage. So be it maybe cheating, maybe anger management, financial issues, anything you've ever heard of.
Yeah.
So take down those issues and note them down. Then come to discuss about it and come to a conclusion that if this happens in your marriage,
This is how we're
what would you do?
Yes.
So that was like one of the biggest lessons I ever got from a mentor. And you can imagine discussing about things like that, things you've not even thought about before.
Yeah.
So once you talk about it, it helps you understand yourself in that situation. Then you'll be able to come to a conclusion, okay, if this happens to me, what do we do? If this happens to me, if I tend to lose my job and you have your job, okay, how do you do? Would you be able to share your source of income? Would you be able to manage at that point? So mentorship really helps you to build a good foundation before getting into the marriage.
It's just like somebody holding your hands to walk you on that journey.
True.
It's just like somebody saying, don't worry, I got you. This is what you are meant to do. This is how you are meant to do it. It's not that serious. You can navigate it like this and like this. So we encourage you to actually go for premarital counseling. Like, it is very, very good. So
what we're going to be talking about is counseling helps you to highlight your differences and help you work as a team. So during counseling, there are several tests that we took. We took personality tests.
Yeah.
We took
I think behavioral test. I don't know what you call that thing again.
This thing too, temperament test.
Temperament test.
So we did quite a lot of tests from the two sides. So what those tests really helps you to do is it helps you to understand the kind of person you are. It helps you to understand your personality, how you respond to anger, how you love, how you, just to make you understand your personality in general, your weaknesses, your strengths, and all that. So what that really highlights for you there is, for instance, I'm phlegmatic and she is melancholy.
Very very male.
So it helped us to understand who we were personally, and it also helped us to understand how phlegmatic and melancholy can work as a team.
Yeah.
So it just helps you bring that understanding together, and it helps you to just work together. So they kind of teach you how this trait can work with this trait, how this person can work with this person, what this person needs to do to help this other person. So we understand our strengths and our weaknesses. So it has helped us to cover up for each other.
Yeah.
So in one of the videos we spoke about before, we spoke about how we help ourselves in the house, in chores and all that. So that was one part that we learned in counseling. So she knows our strengths, I know my strengths, she knows our weaknesses, I know my weaknesses. We both have that understanding of each other. So it just helped us to work better as a team.
And I just want to give like a practical example. So obviously we took personality test. He's a phlegmatic person, I'm a melancholy person. Everybody knows like one of the weaknesses of phlegmatic people is that sometimes they're like they don't really like confrontations. Like they just like to be on their own. And sometimes I feel like I annoy this man, but he doesn't want to talk. So let me give you a practical example. So one of the things he complains about is that I don't lock the door. I'll give you guys that gist next time. But he says I don't lock the door to the house. So one day I was actually, and I tried to be intentional now to be locking the door every time I come in, but one day he came in and it was just, the door wasn't locked. So when he came in, I tried to greet him. He just said, "How are you?" Fine. But the way he greeted me, I knew that there's an issue. Then I said, I think I didn't lock the door. But knowing who he is, like his personality, I know that he will not confront me and say, "Why did you do this? Why didn't you lock the door?" But I also want him to be happy, because when you are angry, like it makes the atmosphere tense, and it makes the atmosphere somehow. So understanding that this boy will not confront me, but he's actually very angry, I went to go and meet him to make the environment like better. I went to go and meet, babe, I'm sorry, I know that I didn't lock the door, and I know that that is what is getting you upset. Even if you will say you are not upset, I'm sorry, blah blah blah, I didn't mean to lock the door. Then I actually explained why I feel like I don't lock the door, like from my own perspective, and like we came to a conclusion, and the atmosphere was better. So if I did not understand his perspective, I would just be living anyhow and say, my husband doesn't get angry. True. My husband will always understand. Not knowing that part of his temperament is that even if he's hot, he will not express his feelings. And if I keep bottling him up and keep hurting him, it will get to a particular point where he cannot hold himself again, and there will be an outburst. Me as a phlegmatic, I usually overthink stuff. Me as a melancholy, I usually overthink stuff. Like I literally overthink everything, and sometimes this affects my mood. I can be happy now, I can be sad later. But he, knowing that I'm a phlegmatic, I'm going to be phleg in the future. He, knowing that I'm a melancholic person, when he comes home and he sees that I'm not really in a happy mood, instead of him to get angry and say, "Why are you always having mood swings? Why are you always this? Why are you always that?" He just comes and say, "What's the problem? Are you overthinking stuff?" And I just try to discuss what I'm overthinking at that particular time, and it just encourages me, and like we move on from there. Things are fine. So as you were saying, premarital counseling helps you to know your differences, like individually. So if I'm having mood swing, I'm not angry at myself, like, why am I always like this? I'm not a good person. I know that, okay, this is the root cause of this issue. Or if he's facing some challenges, he knows that, oh, this is the way I am. But because you are like that doesn't mean you should not work on it. But it helps you to understand yourself. It helps you to understand your partner. And they also give you like wisdom on how to work as a team. Do you understand? So I feel like this is a very big point that has helped us in our marriage. It has helped us to avoid arguments, like,
because of the understanding we
have. And it has helped us to avoid saying like negative things about each other. True. Even if we want ourselves to be better, but we know that this is a weakness that this person has, and I can come in to help this person at this particular point.
Nothing else to add to what you just said is, now it makes us understand ourselves. So on a spiritual point, it also helps us to know the kind of understanding that we have. Because in those tests too, we did some tests where they asked our views on spirituality, our views on prayer, our views on studying the word. So we did various classes.
Yeah.
So if you have differences in your beliefs, that can also help you too.
Yes.
Because if you both don't agree, or you both don't have the same understanding on prayer, on studying, on
obedience, tithing,
giving too. So that can also help you, because these are some of the things that you might not discuss in your relationship, even if they're important things to talk about, but many people don't really talk about them.
So maybe I feel like you're already jumping to our third point, and leading us to our third point is counseling forces you guys to communicate. Like it forces you guys to talk, because your counselors, or let's say our counselors, they ask us questions. So sometimes we are coming, they can tell us we are talking about this topic today, maybe finances, and maybe you are when you come to the class or to the house, they first of all throw you one question that will just it will just shake you, and you're like, where is this question coming from? Then they tell you to answer, because it's something like you did not prepare for. So you don't have like a premeditated idea. I can remember one time they asked us what is compatibility, and do we feel that we are compatible?
Yeah.
And we're like, yes, we are compatible. They said, give us examples. And the reason why we say we are compatible was not the real definition of compatibility. They explained compatibility using like a biro and its cover. And that's not like the angle we saw it from, which helped our understanding. So it forces you to communicate better in the sense of when you have classes, maybe conflict resolution classes, when you have classes on children, when you have classes on finances, it opens your mind, because naturally when you are in love, sometimes you don't talk about important stuff.
You even ignore sometimes.
Yeah, you just ignore something like, don't worry, when we get married, I'll fix this person, I'll change this person. But counseling forces you guys to communicate. So I can remember when we talked about children, where our counselors gave us they gave us like an exam that before we come back the next time, we have to have concluded on the number of children we want to have and the sex and all of that. So counseling forces you guys to communicate. When you talk about a particular topic today, then you guys will sit down together, you will discuss it. Okay, the finances in our house, how do we want to solve it? The house chores, how do we want to solve it? I go early, I come back late, you are at home, how can we manage our family in the regards of timing? So it just forces you to communicate the things that you will naturally not talk about. It forces you to communicate, and it also gives you an edge, because the things you feel like you cannot communicate with your partner, you can discuss it with your counselors, and your counselors can bring it up when you guys.
Yeah, true.
So let's say you think that, okay, you are discussing about finances with your partner, and your partner is not really partner.
It's kind of confrontational.
Yeah, it's kind of confrontational about it, and you feel like, oh, this is a big point that can affect our marriage. You can discuss with your counselor, and your counselor will just bring it up from the blues. Your partner will not know that it's a setup. Your partner will not know that it's a setup, and you guys can discuss and finish, like at least get like a relative understanding of that issue. So it just helps you to communicate, and it helps the relationship to be better, because definitely communication is like the bedrock of every relationship. Everything that wants to thrive, or every relationship that will thrive, has to major on communication.
So what I want to add to the point about communication is, please during counseling, I would advise that you should be transparent. Try your possible best to be open. Even if you can't talk about it during the classes, you can meet your counselors after the classes just to share some ideas that you feel you have, because it's important for you guys to talk about everything that you have in your mind, anything that is bothering you, anything that is on your heart. Don't hold back.
If your counselors are asking you questions, be open and be honest, because they are not willing to tear down your relationship. They are willing to help you guys to see the way you guys can work as a team and be better. So be open. When they're asking you questions, don't cover up and say like our counselors asked us a question about our family, like our parents married individually. Were they asking that question? They were asking that question to see if we have gotten any mindset or any idea from the past that can affect our marriage. So when they're asking you questions, they're not asking you questions to tear you down. They're asking you questions so that they can look for ways or give you wisdom on how you can work on that situation and just come out marvelous. So I totally agree, because you see people lying in counseling. They will ask you, does your spouse have a source of income? You will say yes. Does your spouse, just be honest. They are there to help you. They are there to help you. They are not there to tear you down. So just be honest during counseling. I think it is very, 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 very important.
The next point we're talking about is counseling helps you to evaluate your relationship and see whether you guys are compatible together.
Yes. I know this doesn't sound fun.
It is very, I know, because a lot of people have invested in their relationships physically, financially, mentally. And yes, now turning up, showing up for your partner.
Okay, sorry, I thought it was the other.
You know, when people are traveling from Lagos to Port Harcourt, or traveling from Abuja to Enugu, just for relationship. So you're there physically for the person. True. So a lot of people have invested in their relationships, and when they get to the point of counseling, I understand that many people would have maybe started their wedding plans, told their friends, told their family.
Ignore the red flag.
So it's important for you to take the evaluation seriously and decide if you guys are good to get
If you
married.
guys want to step forward or you want to
It's better
go
to
backward.
it's better to have a broken relationship than to have a failed marriage.
Yes.
So counseling helps you to evaluate everything that we've said, and it helps you come to a conclusion, to ask yourselves,
do I want to move forward or
should we go ahead from this, knowing this and knowing this and knowing this, knowing that I have this understanding of you and knowing that you have this understanding of me.
And your counselors too, sometimes, if they speak to both of you, they can advise you. Like, there were scenarios where our counselors told us that they spoke to some couples, they advised them not to
get married,
and they did, and few years later the marriage had scattered, collapsed, and all of that. So I just want to add to what you said, that true counseling helps you to it helps you to evaluate the relationship. It really helps you to evaluate yourself as a person, because after a while in counseling you get to know yourself more. You get to be more aware, like self-aware of who you are, and so help you to be more aware of the person. So it helps you to evaluate the relationship as a whole. And I know it's difficult because people feel like after I have invested so much, will I now say I'm no more doing and all? But I feel like experiencing joy and peace in marriage is something that should be treasured. Like, when I think about our marriage, sometimes I'm just very thankful to God. Like, the things that people say and the fears that I brought into marriage, I've not experienced like one in a day, and I'm so grateful to God. I pray that God will continue to strengthen and help us. And I can imagine people that have gotten married and 6 months, 3 months, 9 months into the marriage, they're already tired, they're already, and I'm like, okay, is it that they didn't self-evaluate the relationship or something? But I understand that it's difficult to say you are no more doing, but it's just better to have like a broken relationship and just enjoy yourself. It's not
a bad thing if you quit during counseling. It's not bad, actually.
And that's the reason why you should also be open to your counselors, like we said before, because when you are open to them, it also helps them to evaluate the relationship that you guys are building. So take your time and be honest to yourself. Like, nobody can be honest with you than you can be honest with yourself. So after this counseling and during the counseling, make sure you are open and you are genuinely honest to yourself. And if you see some things that are issues of concern, raise it with your partner. And babe, I'm not certain about this. Well, because you cannot just say, okay, you quit. You must quit when you have a conversation and when you are able to draw out an outcome. Now, okay, there is no way here. Do you understand? But if you discuss it and the person genuinely wants to work on it, not like just like fake it for that period.
Because we had our own concerns too.
Yes.
After evaluations, we had our concerns.
Yeah.
But we spoke about it. We came to a conclusion. Okay, this is what we want to do. This is how we're going to go about it, and it's been able to work very well.
Yeah, thank God. So please, accuse counseling like is it binocular? Microscope. Is the one that when you see something when you see like maybe my phone now, and you don't know if there are microorganisms on this phone, but just like you use a microscope, and when you check through a microscope, you can see various organs on this phone. It's the same thing. Premarital counseling or counseling generally helps you to look deep into your relationship and your marriage, and just helps you to evaluate it and know what it is made up of. Last thing we'll be talking about is premarital counseling helps you to see the reality of marriage. I know that we are dating, we are just like mushy, we are picking colors, everybody's happy, you're just like holding hands and everybody's just happy. But when you talk to people that have been married, like even me now, we are married for just a few months, but in marriage now and what we knew before, we know that like there's a big difference.
It's not easy. It's serious work.
Sometimes you don't feel like doing some things, but you just have to do it. And sometimes you don't even want to meet the needs of your partner, but you really just have to. So like the reality of marriage and the reality of dating. I know that our counselors were saying this during premarital counseling. We're like, but coming into marriage now, there is like a big difference. There's a big difference. So when you talk to marriage counselors, sorry, it helps you to know like the difference between marriage and dating phase. So sometimes when things happen, you are not shocked. Like, you are not shocked. You already expect it. So you are coming into marriage with like a more polished expectation in your mind. So you don't expect that when I come back from work, my wife will have made all the dinner, or maybe I will see pet house, or maybe that's not the reality. The reality is that everybody is trying to go through their everyday life, and your partner is there to help you on different issues. So marital counselors, as I said earlier, they help you to know the difference, they help you to see the difference, and they help you to navigate how to work out the reality of marriage, because they are talking from their experience. They are not talking from like make believe theories. Although you don't have to be married to be a marital counselor, or as long as God has given you the wisdom, but it just helps you to see like the reality of things, and it helps you to see it gives you wisdom on what you need to do to work out the reality of marriage.
So in conclusion, I understand that many people don't want to talk about their issues, or don't want to open up their lives to
complete strangers.
But just have the understanding that you're doing it for the sake of the marriage. I understand many of you want your lives to be private. Many of you don't want to share your details or disclose your information to strangers. But along the line, our counselors
at first.
Yeah, along the line, our counselors became more like family. They became like our parents, sort of. And I knew sometimes.
I love them.
Sometimes in classes we kind of acted like we're not interested, because in reality it took a lot. 6 months was a long time.
It was a very long time.
And sometimes we didn't want to go, but we just had to be there.
Yeah.
But we actually absorbed everything that he said, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. You might feel like you are not saying anything, that you already know this, but when the reality hits, like in marriage, you will not remember, this person said this, this is how I meant to do this, this is how I meant to do. It was during marital counseling that I heard that when respect is not really what you say to men, but how you say it, the tone of your voice, and during timing. So there are a lot of things to learn in marital counseling, and we just want to advise you on being people that have gone through the school of marital counseling from 2 different universities.
Honestly,
please
go
for marital counseling. And if you are married and you are having like little issues with your spouse, please sign up for a counseling course. The benefit outweighs the price, and you see that after counseling, the money you paid does not match up to what you receive. And even if you are married and you are not yet having issues, and you guys feel like you're good, it's not a bad thing if you also like sign up for like a counseling course. Because personally, I would like that on our first year anniversary, we still talk to our counselors and just discuss the journey and just evaluate things, and boost our morale for the second year. And also always learn to speak to counselors as long as they are wise, because the Bible says that in the multitude of counsel there is safety. Thank you so much if you waited for the end of this video. We love you guys. Thank you for encouraging us. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please turn off your post notifications so you get notified when we post a new video. Please like, comment, and share these videos. Please share, because the more you share, the more you like, the more you comment, the more YouTube pushes this video out for people to see. And where in today's world, where what is circulating is adjuncts for humans, so I feel like we need to put out audible content, content that would glorify God and just make the glory of God be revealed in our nations and in all the kingdoms of the earth. So please share this video, and we just want to build this community with you guys. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.